man's heart one day beats its final beat. And if what that man did in his life makes the blood pulse through the body of others, then his essence, his spirit, will be immortalized forever.
Don't walk away from me, girl, 'cause you're the treasure of my heart. Don't leave me now, please don't go, girl, 'cause you're the treasure of my heart. I know this love will never be. I'm gonna have to set you free. I will never forgive what you have done to me. Memories of love, my memories of love, memories of love. It's the memories of love that I now have of you. Tell me, where is your love now?
Clubhouse Dance Music.
Till I believe your love, never thought I'd feel this way. Got me all caught up, can't get enough. Think about it night and day.
You listen to me, you go to the top. You don't listen to me, you never.
It's over, it's over. I'd rather lose you, I'd rather lose you. Now that it's over, we need to break apart, just set me free.
They got the answers. I change the question.
190.7 FM, WTCC, and CPR with you. This is Clubhouse Dance Music, and of course, the CPR's Clubhouse podcast. Of course, as promised, we have live with us the King of Freestyle himself, Mr. Stevie B. Thank you for joining us here on Clubhouse Dance Music.
Thank you, Jose, for inviting me.
Now, let me ask you right off the bat, if you were not the King of Freestyle, who would you choose as the King of Freestyle?
I think this term of King of Freestyle is actually becoming a little bit tainted, but I have a lot of kings out there. You know, everybody has their own king in their own mind. So whatever, whoever they like is their king, they can be their king. I choose one king, and that's me.
I knew it. You know what? I sat down and I thought, who would he choose? I'm like, he's going to choose himself.
I'm going to choose myself. I mean, there are some people out there that I got to be honest with you, they don't even come close.
I love that
They don't come
confidence.
close.
I love that Stevie B swagger. It's what made 2019.
No, but it's true. But it's true. Add up the accolades. Just add them all up, and then you know what? I try to find somebody that I can reach to. But I pass the baton across the board. There are people who are good at what they do, and they've held on for all these years, and they do good. So, and I give them that respect. But as far as competing with me on my level, there ain't none.
2019 was very interesting because it was like I was sending you my thoughts, and then you just said them on social media. Like, I've been talking about this stuff for so many years, and then here you come on, and you just take social media and freestyle, and you turn it on its head when you were discussing the quality of music that was being released at that time. And to this day, it's still being released. Inferior freestyle music that really hurts the genre. What made you come out to do that?
It was part ego. I mean, I'm a competitive person, and I've been involved in this quote unquote freestyle genre because it wasn't freestyle before. This thing freestyle, actually, it hurts us. It hurts us, especially if you identify it as being a certain kind of loop. There's a loop there that people are stuck in. So if you identify in there within that loop, you don't give me the opportunity or the option to expand, grow, and be creative. You don't give me that. When you put me in that, you pigeonhole me, or any artist when you do that. So when the artist shows something else, you get so used to him doing certain things. When I heard some of the inferior music that was being done, I just thought it was my obligation to step up, not just for me, but all the writers and producers, Andy Panda, Joey Gardner, Liggett and Barbosa, people that have been writing some of the biggest hits that established freestyle, I felt it as an obligation to come in and step in and say, hell no. There are people that did way better, established the genre, and we sort of left it alone. It was a mistake on my part. I am a part of that neglect. And when I decided to step in, it took a lot for me to do it. But I said, you know what? If I step in, people are going to say, well, Stevie, if you want to come in and give your opinion about freestyle, what are you going to offer to counter that? So that put a big obligation, because when you're pointing your finger at people, there's three pointing back at you. I have 3 times the obligation to come back and say, hey, look, this is what I think it is. This is how I think it should be. Now, I'm giving my opinion. So you say, well, what is freestyle? Freestyle is whatever I say it is. And if you want to follow my lead, you want to follow my songs, you want to support me and say, hey, look, I put a smorgasbord on the table. I don't put just one dish on the table and say, that's going to be your diet and you stick with it. Just play Spring Love 100 times a day and see how satisfied you're going to be. You're not going to be satisfied with that. You know, music is a spiritual thing. And you don't never know what mood people are in. Music is a mood giver or a mood taker, because it can change your mood, but it can also give you a mood. That is the psychology of the human being. He's not in a good mood all the time, and he's not in a bad mood all the time. But sometimes he's heartbroken, sometimes he's this, and sometimes he's that. So when I do music, I try to cover all those things. Now, if you want to stick me in 128 beats a minute and everything that I do, that's not what music is. Sometimes I don't feel like dancing. Sometimes I feel like crying. Sometimes I feel like just being mellow. Sometimes I feel like being grown and sexy. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
There's the moods of the human being, and music is that. Music is inspirational. So what I'm saying to the people that's making music, this is Stevie B's perspective. I can only give my perspective of what's coming out of my spirit and come out of my soul. And if you say I'm the king of freestyle and I'm your favorite artist, then let me have the opportunity to present my art. This is a gift. This is a gift to me. Whoever created me gave me this gift. Let me shine. Let me put the canvas. And if you really, really appreciate great art, you're not going to go to Mozart and tell Mozart what to do. Mozart's going to tell you what to do. He's going to say, this is my inspiration. This is what I see for this particular category or this particular thing. On the dance floor, this is what I see happening: drums, music, melody. Oh, grown and sexy. You know, this is what I see happening. This is what I see. Do you agree with me? Can you get with me? And then either you're going to say yes or you're going to say no. Now, I presented my menu. That's a menu. My new album is a full menu. Every album that I ever did was a full menu. I don't have filler songs. Every one of them that you can go to and eat from it depends on your mood. If your mood is grown and sexy, I got it. If you want to dance your ass off, I got it. Okay? If you want to talk spirituality, I got it. So whatever mood you're in, Stevie B has that menu for you. That's what I've always done. So this is my new menu for 2020, saying this is the state of what I want to present to the world.
You asked me to review the album. I've had it for about 2 months now, and I've heard it over and over and over again. So I will let you know my favorites in a moment. But going back to when you went on social media to discuss your views, what I stated was, we named him the King of Freestyle. Don't be upset when he's addressing his court, when he's addressing his people. You know what I'm saying? For me, I thought it was a great wake-up call. I mean, even the people from the old school, they chimed in. They're trying to come back and offer new music to the community. There are people that have been here producing new freestyle music. When you came and you did what you did, you put freestyle on its ear, and not only did people listen, but people went to work. And so even though many people took it in a way where they felt disrespected, they had no other choice but to go back into the studio and put out good quality content. Now you're here in 2020 with your brand new album, and now people are going to be judging you. Are you okay with that now after you went on that social media rant or talk? Are you now going to be okay with what comes with this album and the review people give you?
100% I'm prepared to take on the critics, because, they have to judge a few things. They can't just, a lot of people, what they're judging, Jose, is how I compete with my other 15 hit records. So they're making me compete with an old dish that I serve, and you just might love that. That's fine. You see, that's the critique. Oh, it don't sound like such and such. You see, but I'm okay with you coming in, and if you are sincere, if you want to be sincere about critiquing the music and not be critiquing me based on a faction that you're involved with, you're on somebody's team, or you pissed off at some other situation, or a friend of mine, or you pissed off at my DJ, or you pissed off at CPR because he showed me some love, then you're going to come in and rant on me about that. See, a lot of people are critiquing the album based on a whole nother sentiment. So if you are a decent music lover, just basic music lover, that you're going to come in and trash this album. If you do that, then you're just a plain old hater.
You're completely correct, and I don't want to talk about those folks. I know that you're addressing my question, but I want to start with one of the songs that you have on your album. It's called "Take It All Back," and to me, when I heard that song, what it means to me is that you wish that people could go back to the days where artists were artists. You bring it back to a time where people had mystique, and bring it to a time where there was this thing that attracted you to someone that social media kind of messed up. And the song "Take It All Back," which is one of my favorites actually, after listening to the words, it's you talking about that. So what was the inspiration? Was it the situation in 2019 that inspired this song, or was it something totally different?
No, it's exactly what you thought it was. And, you know, a lot of the up-and-coming artists right now, and I'll just address them because I was targeting a lot of the up-and-comings and the newbies. And a lot of them don't have the same scenario. They don't have the same sentiment. They don't have the same experience that I've gone through. You see, I'm probably 10 years older than the oldest freestyle artist, you see. So my experiences, when I came in, I almost didn't have my first hit record till almost 30 years old. And Tolga and those people that worked around me and all those, they were kids. They were 18, 19, 20 years old when I first met them. So a lot of the younger people that's coming in now, and some of them not young, but they're young in this industry, coming in and having the accolades that they have now. So some of them have been around, but they're just making their mark. The internet allowed that. It didn't allow it 30 years ago. But our experiences, what I feel within me, Take It All Back is talking about a time that I experienced. Now, if I'm lucky, you experience some of that too, if we're the same age or we came up in the same era. So the song is giving homage to us, our freestyle, our industry. But I was listening to a lot of things back then that was influencing me. But I want us to go back to a time where it was a little bit more fun. Everybody's too serious out here today. You know, everybody's just too uptight. You know, that's not the time I want to talk about. I want to talk about when the world was not so uptight. That's what I say in the beginning. We had fun in the clubs. We had fun at the park. We were skating in the park. And the music was a part of that culture. Now, we're not a part of that young culture, but there's an older culture that's there, and I reminisce within that song for us. I did that for us. You have to go into each one of those words, in each one of those lines, and hopefully that I put a certain kind of beat. Marcio did a Map Style did a beat on there, and we presented the package to where it could take you back. The melodies, what I tried to do, keep the beat there, and then the lyric and the harmonies. All of these go into my decisions on how I present a song. It's not just trying to be philosophical or poetic. You have to be clever. Look at the clever lines that I use, the rhythmic patterns that I use. So all of that went into that song, and it speaks for itself. It doesn't take a whole bunch of deep explanations of what I was trying to do in that song, but it came from Stevie B, and it came uniquely from me. And Kim, let me tell you like this here. I don't care who you are. You can't touch that.
Let's take a listen to Take It All Back, Stevie B's brand new album, Best of Life, available right now.
They say good music never gets old. It should move your soul. I know you know if we take it all back to how it used to be, and they don't wait you and me. It's all love if we can take it all back. all back to the good times. We get nice. We got fly, do when you want to daylight. If I could, I'd press rewind to 85 and make sure you're by my side so we can go back to how it used to be. And it'll make you and me. It's all love if we can take it all back to breaking in the streets and fall in love to the beat. We were one if we can take it all back. Take it all back.
90.7 FM, WTCC. In the backgrounds, it's Stevie B, Take It All Back, from his brand new album, Best of Life. We are live on 90.7 FM, WTCC. Also on the CPR's Clubhouse podcast. And we have live with us Stevie B himself. And right now we were playing the brand new song, Take It All Back, from Best of Life. Now, where'd you get that title, Best of Life?
Like a year ago, like I said, when I did the rant, everybody was a little tense. Everybody was a little stressed out. And, we all have to make life changes. And personal things that I was going through, others around me were going through. And, at some point you have to decide, you know what, I want to live my best life. I want to be appreciative of the people around me, and I want them to be appreciative of me. And sometimes we miss that. Just look what happens now with Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, and his family, and the things that those families are going through. There's a lot of things people are going through politically. People are distressed out. We have a political situation that's disrespecting people, disrespecting the human person. I mean, just outright it. So I said, you know what? Let me do a song that's going to highlight the importance of the one-on-one relationships, giving your spouse or your friend or your family the highest respect, and showing the accolades of what the people that's been around you since day one, what they mean to you. And a lot of people have this idea, Jose, but can you express it? Can you express it in a magical way? And that's what brought on the Best of Life. And I think that it's a perfect timing for that, based on the climate of not just our country, but based on the whole world right now. This is the climate that's out there right now.
There's not a better song that inspires you to think of what's to come in life than listening to Stevie B, Spring Love. And on this album, you really take it to the youngsters. You really give it a twist. I mean, you've revisited Spring Love with Pitbull, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing. But this one here with DJ Chubby Chub and Dynasty the King, it's where you cement your legacy for the future. And it's something that I've told you before. I think that it's great that you can get to that hip, current music that the young adults are enjoying right now. And I'm going to play that because I think that what you did was very appealing to a new generation. And I do commend you for that.
And this is what I was talking about back in April. If you're doing music and you're focusing your production and your idea and your writing on just a narrow window, then when you shoot for your target, it's going to be minimal. Who makes music like that? Who does that? I don't. You listen to any Stevie B album, I've always had a lot of variety on my album, from spiritualism to political to I'm Not Crazy on the prayer album, Children of Tomorrow. I've always been that kind of person, and I've always presented that package. I don't know why, for some people, this is a surprise to them. What were you looking for me to do? To go back and try to remake In My Eyes or Want to Be the One? Why would you even want me to do that? You already have that in your collection.
It's called freestyle, but you're obviously not free. It's a situation where if you do something totally different, you're a traitor to the genre. Or if you update it, you're a traitor to the genre. Or if you do anything to tweak it, to make it modern, you are betraying the genre. It's called freestyle, and there should be that freedom to express yourself in a way where people can listen and say, okay, this is the evolution of freestyle. If P. Diddy can use freestyle in his beats, if So Def, and I can go on because I've listened to generations of freestyle use freestyle and not call it freestyle, but even freestyle itself is like, oh no, that can't be freestyle because it's set this way.
There is no betrayal to freestyle. Freestyle is that. Estilo libre. Estilo libre. We're not stuck. It says we're free to do what? We're free to express ourselves. We're free to say, hey, whatever we say, we want to come from. If it's your favorite artist, or if it's an artist you're going to respect, you're going to listen to the offering and say, wow, what are they trying to say in this? Does it appeal to me? So what I tried to appeal to in this particular album was, in Best of Life in the production, I know what the kids are listening to. My son is one of the biggest producers out there. Cardi B, French Montana, Post Malone. He's got some of the top records out there right now. And they're trying to give me guidance. They're saying, Dad, it's the element of just the beat with the tune to it, this and that, with a major song or good lyrics behind it. So what did I do? I tried to keep the space. Now, that doesn't say we can't have a freestyle remix of it, but that's not what I was going to put on the offering at first on the album when it comes to this. My appeal, and I warned everybody back in April, didn't I? I said, what is freestyle? I don't want you to tell me what freestyle is. That's your opinion of freestyle. If you're coming on saying, well, that don't sound like freestyle to me. Okay, either move on, stay stuck in your 50 songs that you have in your repertoire of every freestyle song that was made in 1988, 89, 90, 91. If you want to live in that world, you want to drag me into your little freestyle world and lock me in. Well, that's never going to happen, because the minute you try to do that to me is the minute I'll run away from you and I'll go find the rest of the world who wants to hear world music.
That to me is the issue that I have, because they have an issue with you changing things up and people like TKA, K7 changing things up, or people modernizing music, Jay Adams. Most of them are stuck in the Planet Rock era. So every song that they come out with is African Bambaataa, Planet Rock, every song. And it's been beaten to death for over 25 years. And people are like, no, this is what freestyle is. That's not freestyle. Like, it's not what you want to be stuck on.
No, because they think first and foremost freestyle is just Latinos. That is not true. There are other nationalities. There are people from Vietnam. There's people from the Philippines. There's people from Mexico. There's people from everywhere who love freestyle. And they listen to rock. They can listen to bachata. They can listen to merengue. They can listen to hip-hop. They can listen to old school, all in the same buffet. And they don't have no problems with it. Why do some people have a problem with innovation, expanding, new things? Who the hell wants to listen to their favorite artist release the same song every day?
I know I
That's
don't.
Crazy. I don't either. And
Right.
I'm not going to do that. I don't give that. I'm sorry. Go
Let's
ahead.
give them a taste. Let's give them a taste of the Spring Love Cutie. I love this. Really cool. Right now, we are previewing a brand new album from Stevie B, Best of Life, and right now we're going to be playing one of the songs featured on the album. This is Spring Love Cutie. That's Spring Love Cutie featuring Map Style, DJ Chubby Chub, Dynasty the King, the other person that's on the song. And I really, really enjoyed this iteration of Spring Love. So I'm going to play it right now. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes, let's go.
New York City, big up Map Style, DJ Chubby Chub. We Brazilian funk, Brazil. Hey, girl, come give me that thing, 'cause you know, say you drive me crazy. When I saw your sexy face, I fell in love instantly. Your lips and thighs, it turned up this galaxy. I just wanna make sweet love, sipping on some Hennessy. Wearing that sundress, everywhere you go, you impress. You drip nice, you are the finest. Anywhere we go, no one can test, no. So let me be your man, your love, your mentor, real provider. You're one and only, know my story, I'm a real survivor. Me give you Gucci, Louis V, my girl, any designer. up in the dance hall. Let me see you bubble till the sun don't fall. Later on you know so me I gon' make a call. In a different bell enough love and respect. Whatever you look for me I'll be on deck. Spring love from me up you I go get. I'm your number one you know I come correct. So me sing amor de primavera es lo que yo quiero ver. No sé lo que tú me hiciste pero me tiene loco ver. Cuando yo me levanto yo siempre pienso en ti. Esta noche quiero hacerte el amor así venga que me tienes loco mujer. Spring love, you're my
To Clubhouse Dance Music.
you're so sexy. Ya me love your style, you're so amazing. Vámonos tú y yo para la playa más. Quiero verte en la arena en tu bikini más. Quisiera besarte toda la noche, yeah, para que tú sepas cuánto te quiero, mujer. Spring love, you're my cutie. Spring love, you're so sexy. I need you and I want you, baby. Spring love,
You're listening to Clubhouse Dance Music.
so me tell them like this. And I see the king. Hey, Stevie B. Jump into it. Brazilian funk. Hey, Kiko. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And CPR with you along with Stevie B. It's the Best of Life album. This is Spring Love Cutie featuring Map Style, DJ Chubby Chub, and Dynasty. We're live on 90.7 with Stevie B. Stevie, I really love that. That is a club banger, and I can play
Wow.
that in any club, and everyone will be on the dance floor, guaranteed.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you know, and I say this, for me to be able to touch that record, and I know how sensitive people are about Spring Love, and they sensitive. Let me tell you something. That takes flavor to take that harmony, take that and make it work with Dynasty, with that beat. And he put the Spanish, and I came back in with the heavy harmonies. If you notice, the harmonies are very, very rich. And I wanted the youngsters that hear that record, because a lot of young people never heard this song before. But you got the dance hall feel, you got the Spanish. We give highlights to Brazil, which loves freestyle, loves Stevie B. So in that song, I tried to cover and give a lot of people satisfaction from it. And I think right now, just by your accolades right now, hopefully I hit the nail on the head.
That's a legacy record. That's pretty much legacy record, 30 years of
Wow.
that song, and I'm not tired
That's
of it.
big.
Pitbull, the Pitbull version was amazing. This one here is for the kids, and they're going to love
Yeah.
it. And that's just the bottom line. Anyone who disagrees with that is not a real music lover. And every album that you've put out, it hasn't been just freestyle. You can go back to the first album. You know, you had Spring Love, but there were ballads.
No more, I had no more tears. I have Day and Night.
Absolutely.
I have records that don't even sound. The only freestyling songs on there is Stop the Love and I think Part of Your Body. And Spring Love wasn't even considered a freestyle song.
Absolutely. So I want to go back to like the last decade because again, people only hear certain things that you put out, but you've been busy every year putting out content. I've seen best of Stevie B CDs, compilations, Spotify lists. Right? We go back to 2012, and in 2012 I was working with Julio Mena on a compilation album. He brought me this song called One Last Wish. And you heard that song, and you automatically took him under your wing, and you recorded that song in a duet style. Now, a lot of the freestyle community, I always say they're like professional wrestling, right? Because they're always talking about how the old generation doesn't want to pass the torch to the new generation. I disagree wholeheartedly because I've seen that effort. You did it in 2012 with Julio Mena. one last wish. I've seen you put him on stage on your shows to do your songs on stage.
Yes.
We fast forward to your catalog, right? You had the This Time album, 2015. The Terminator, one of my favorite albums. Different kind of love, an amazing song. Just
Thank you.
one of the greatest, right? You partnered with Frankie J to do the Body Rock in 2016. Never Gonna Let You Go, the album with Genie in a Bottle. You're Gonna Be Mine. I always say it like that because it's like when you talk, I get your accent for some reason, right? So it's like, you're going to be, the Stevie B, you're going to be mine, right? And then
That's right.
2019, you came and you flipped social media, right? So I named you one of the most influential artists of the decade. 30 years, probably 3 decades, but I was doing a countdown and I had to put you on that list. Most importantly, you fast forward to 2020 and you hear Jenny Renee's All Hooked Up. And then you connect with her to feature her on this album. Now, if you're not trying to nurture the future of freestyle, then I don't know who is.
Sometimes the people don't want to see actually what's happening right in front of them. So the things that I do, are very, very consequential. And I try to pick my situations very, very carefully. And sometimes you pick good and sometimes you pick bad. And we're always throwing the dice on when we meet new people, just in friendships. You don't know how the friendships are going to turn out. Some of the people you think that weren't going to be your friends wind up being your best friend. And the ones you think are going to be your best friends wind up being your biggest enemies. So these things happen also when we take people under our belt and we start to let them do an apprentice program, just like probably at the radio station, you have young people that want to learn. But the first thing they got to do is they got to clean up the damn studio.
Absolutely.
They got to take the trash out. They got to bring me coffee. They got to do whatever we say to get in, because to get in, it ain't that easy. You don't just let people get in easy like that. And I'm not an easy person, but sometimes I am, and things slip in. Some of the people that had some of the biggest successes they ever had was just they were around at the right time at the right place. I'll give you an example, and I'm going to get back to your thing. Take Coro, who was my first dancer. Take Charlie Steele from Lanier, my first dancers that went out with Stevie B. Well, look how their careers blossomed because they were in association with me.
The late, great Carell.
Okay? The late, great Carell was around me. His cousin is Eric, my dancer. They're first cousins. People don't know that, you see? And Eric knew somebody. Don, my drummer, knew somebody. Dadgel, my keyboard player, knew somebody. So these are sometimes, and I want like-minded people around me, like spirits around me, because sometimes you can get people that are just full of confusion. I don't need the confusion around my life right now. I take my time. I try to plan, and that's why it took me close to 9-10 months to finish this album. We were working on different time zones. So getting back to your point about passing it forward, Julio, I saw Julio 8 years ago, and I recognized his skill set. And Julio is an independent writer, producer. That boy is fire. So if anybody out there right now that's a Julio fan, you got it. You got it because he's the real deal. Okay, you don't need Stevie B to say he's the real deal. Just freaking listen to the guy. You'll see he's the real deal. I don't need to convince you. You got ears. You got a heart. You got a soul. Listen to what he's trying to say. And if he's touching you, then press the OK button when it's time to put your credit card down and show the man some support and show him some love. Don't just talk about it. So Jenny came to me. I had heard her from, listening to your show, and her song got hot. And I heard about her. I heard about a lot of artists out there. Okay. But when Jay brought me the single on her, he says, "What do you think about this?" I'm like, wow, what is this? I asked all the pertinent questions. What is this? Who is this? Who did this? What's the status? What's the situation? And, we presented the idea of doing the duet with Jenny. And she's got something that is very special, and that's a cut above what I hear coming from the genre. She's got an Adele texture to her voice. It's heavy, it's nice, it's appealing, it's sweet, but it's powerful. And you know what the caveat is, Jose, with Jenny? She's a writer. She wrote that song.
My impression of Jenny Renee was cemented when she flew here from Florida. She could have debuted her song anywhere. She could have gone to, an iRadio station in Florida and debuted it. She flew to Bradley International Airport in Hartford, Connecticut, to drive to Springfield, Massachusetts to debut her song here on my show. Now, that's an honor, and that's dedication. That's what an artist is supposed to do. They're supposed to knock on doors to radio stations. They're supposed to do what you have been taught to do the original old school way. Now everyone,
you got to do the chitlin circuit. You've got to do the chitlin circuit.
Absolutely.
We call that the chitlin circuit. You've got to get in them streets. You got to make yourself known. And she's got, I'm not saying she's the only one. There's other girls out there, but I can't pick everybody.
Absolutely.
I'm just one person. And by me launching the Royalty Entertainment brand, we have Royalty Records, we have Royalty Entertainment, Royalty Publishing. I got the Party of Dreams tour that's coming. So all this is a part of a plan with those people that I feature. They're going to go out with me on the road. Now, everybody's out there talking all that smack and all that because they want to be on my platform. Well, guess what? Jenny's on my platform. She's going to perform on my biggest shows. Now, she's going to catapult from doing those smaller shows, and she needs to do those smaller shows. She needs to establish herself. But what does she get? She gets the benefit. She gets to be on the stage with the biggest artists in quote-unquote freestyle. Now she's going to be on stage with me performing a song that she wrote and co-produced with Jay Allen. Now, who gets that? That's a blessing. And she's a blessing to me and for Jay presenting an incredible record. Now, this is what's missing. Those amazing writers, those amazing artists. Jenny could be in anybody's R&B camp, singing alongside any of the top best. That's what the accolades I give to her. She's got it. She's got a skill set. Okay? Now listen to the song. Let me tell you something. This freaking song is fire. Jay killed it. The production is simple. It's impactful. And it gives the song an opportunity to breathe. And it breathes with her voice. And I'm accompanying her on her song with her voice. And thank you, Jenny Renee, for being blessed with that song.
Let's get ready to listen to it. Right now is Jenny Renee. It's Stevie B live on Clubhouse Dance Music. This, It's All Right.
I can feel it, but something deep inside won't believe it. There's something about the way that you treat me. Got me so confused, got me
You're
so
listening
confused. Don't know what to do.
Clubhouse
No,
Dance Music.
I'm in love with you, you with you, you with you. You're on my mind all the time.
with the King of Freestyle, Mr. Stevie B. That's an amazing song, and to me, it's my number one favorite song on the album, Best of Life, available right now.
That is a stone cold smash.
Love it.
Look, if you hating on that song, then guess what? You need to just go bury yourself in a tunnel somewhere and just shut yourself off from the world. And thank you for giving that song the kind of respect that I thought it was going to get. And I think it's a smash. I think it should be on radio today. But there are songs on that album that goes very, very deep. And if you're appreciating and very hungry for just a really good offering, that album has something for every mood that you could possibly be in.
I hear the dedications that you have on that album for your wife. You've been dedicating a lot of songs to her. And let me tell you, ever since Different Kind of Love, you just, man, you turned the world upside down with that one, man. I love that song. It's a classic to me, and it's a song that if we were to play it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, people they will continue listening to it. And that's not the only one. Young Girl, it's like the national anthem around here.
She was pretty young.
Yeah, so so Young Girl, man, it's a phenomenon in the freestyle community, and especially in this area, it's like the national anthem. I'll leave it right there with that one. But you've made these songs, man, that I really enjoy. I love your melodies, freestyle. You want to dance, you want to move, you want to freestyle. It's really cool. But when your heart is calling, I was listening to that. Tell me the story behind this song, because we're going to be playing that next.
A lot of people out there, honestly, Jose, they're very lonely. People are lonely, and they sometimes they don't express themselves, and they feel a certain type of way. And one thing about love, it has a way of traveling just through thought. I believe that sometimes. Sometimes, you could be thinking about a person, and the next minute they call you. I believe that, when they say two hearts become one, there's something very magical that happens in that relationship. They really do become one. I mean, if you've been in any kind of strong relationship, you know that sometimes the people finish each other's sentences, what they eat, what time they go to bed, their routines. You have routines together, and when you break that routine, the person feels it. It's like I'm used to having breakfast a certain time, or lunch a certain time, eating together, or watching a movie, or these kinds of things. This is what happens when you find that special other half, because, we can't just satisfy ourselves all the time. We need a mate. We need friendships. We need these relationships. So, I try to say, what? When your heart is calling, I'll be there day or night, and don't have to worry. I'm all in. I'm not partially in. I'm all in.
Absolutely love it. It reminds me of my relationship and how my girl and I got together. So I've been playing that one at work all day. And we're going to play it right now. We're going to play it right now because it's one of my favorites. Once again, we're live with Stevie B on 90.7 FM, WTCC. When the Heart is Calling, track number 8. I already got it with a big star. That's one of my favorites. It's Stevie B, Best of Life, the album. We're live with Stevie on 90.7 FM, WTCC. Check this out. Track number 8, When Your Heart is Calling.
I see any light at my phone. I don't have to pick up to know. Your heart is running on short supply. Let me take care of that tonight. It's a time to be all by yourself. Look in your eyes, I can tell. You need to look, it's been a while. Let me give you a reason to smile. Ain't no one like me, certified real thing. I attention you've been denied. You don't have to say a word. When it's heartbreak, I've got the cure. Any real one can see the sign. So I'm willing to take the time. 'Cause a good man is what you deserve. To leave you lonely would be absurd. No, 'cause ain't no one like me. Certified real thing. I can guarantee that I'm never too far away to get the message, baby. When your heart is calling, I'll be right there to give you loving. Ain't no need to worry, I'm all in. Day and night is never a problem. When your heart is calling, I'll be right there to give you loving. Ain't no need to worry, I'm all in. In any language, baby, I hear it. When the heart is calling now. Ain't no one like me. Certified real thing. I can guarantee that I'm never too far away to get the message, baby. When your heart is calling, I'll be right there to give you loving. Ain't no need to worry, I'm all in. Day and night is never a problem. When your heart is calling, I'll be right there to give you loving. Ain't no need to worry, I'm all in. In any language, baby, I hear it. When the heart is calling now.
It's CPR with you. We are live on Clubhouse Dance Music. We have on the line Stevie B. That's a superhero song right there. If you're trying to win a woman's heart, that's a superhero song right there, and that's the reason why it reminded me of my story with my significant other, because I used to be her Superman, and to this day I still am. I got a cape to prove it, so it's pretty cool. And Cheryl Rodriguez is here with me, my co-host. She's been very quiet, just listening, but she has a Superman of her own, and I just think
Thank you, Cheryl.
it's like a superhero song. You know what I mean? And
Beautiful.
it's great to find someone that you would do that for. That just let her know, like, listen, I'm the man for you. You need me, I'm gonna be there. It doesn't matter what time you call me. It's really cool, man. I really enjoy that song.
And I hear you, I hear in any language. One thing about the heart, it's a universal language, and I can hear you any language you call me in. I'm right there.
Absolutely. When you wrote So Fresh, I got a Cool in the Gang vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? Like,
you need to get out of my brain, dude. Get out right now.
I got a Cool in the Gang vibe, and I'm like, oh shoot, he got the Cool in the Gang, but it's like a dancey, freestyle-y, you know what I mean? Yeah. I enjoy that one too. I've been listening to that all day as well, so we're gonna play that right now. We're discussing freestyle in general, debuting some of the songs of Best of Live with Stevie B live here on Clubhouse Dance Music. I'm gonna let him get back to his haircut while we play this one right here.
And I got to give a shout out to Jay Mazur, because he played a part in the production of the So Fresh song. A lot of people don't know it, but
Jay Mazur. Jay Mazur,
right.
He's a good dude. I got an opportunity to meet him. He came to one of my shows and performed about 2 weeks ago. Man, what a solid guy. A very solid guy. And again, I talked about this live at the show, and we talk about social media and then real life. And in social media, they paint you one way, but then when you meet somebody in real life, it's totally different. Mm-hmm. That's Jay Mazur, and I'm sure that's Stevie B as well. I know that, again, being in the industry so long, you have this force field that you have to have, because when you try to help people, those same people that you try to help, in the end, either become an ally or your enemy, and they think they're better than you. And that's the biggest issue right now with freestyle. Right now at this moment, you open the doors, it's easy to open that door to that person, but that person either has an agenda or is trying to be in the spotlight and trying to take your shine. You got to be protective of that. So I see that you have opened your doors, but you can't open it to everyone. But the fact that you have opened it negates the fact that you're not willing to pass the torch or help other artists.
Well, one thing is, the universe, I believe this, the universe sends you people. And it's like a wave. It's like thoughts. Thoughts come all the time, whether you like it or not. You can't stop thinking. But not only can you stop thinking, you can't stop thinking, you can't stop living. You're going to pass by somebody. You're going to come in contact with somebody. You're going to meet people through other associates. So you're always having to judge and be judged and be in situations, and you never know, just like a relationship. Or you might meet a girl just in passing. And just, sometimes just the spirit of those people attract you. It just does. It just happens that way. And there's certain people that repel you. You see, no matter how good they look or how good they sound, you get to the point where you're able to judge and say, you know what, that person has this quality, that quality, but you know what, I don't want to have to deal with their mess. Because you have to be careful about who you associate yourself with. Because a lot of times we're being judged a lot of time out here based on who we hanging with, who's on our like, who's on our page, who we took a picture with, who we did this. And people are insinuating all the time against you. That's what social media has done. It has taken away the mystique of relationships and let it be true. People think they can build relationships virtual like that. You can't. You can't do that. You have to meet somebody in person. You have to feel their spirit and how that spirit fills the room, their voice, their vocabulary, their train of thought, what they're all about. Because you know what? You might not be about that thing. You say, you know what? I get that and let's get that. But where I am in my life right now, I'm living the best life. I'm living my best life. There's certain things that I don't want in my association. No matter how much money you think you can make me. I don't need your money. I would rather not have your money and have peace in my life than to have a whole bunch of money and have hell 24 hours a day. And that's what I'm about and who I associate with. And sometimes things come from a place that you don't even know, from an area you don't even know, from just the weirdest situations. You meet somebody that wind up being a blessing. And I'm going to say this, a lot of times when you're doing a thing, Jose, it's not for you. And I'll give you one example and we're going to move forward. I had a studio back in 2015 when I did So Beautiful, right? And it was in L.A. And all the time I'm spending dough in this studio. It's a huge studio. My son's in there, and he bringing in all these young writers and young producers. He has his little team. And I was in that studio for a year. I must have spent $70,000 just on the rent for the year, whatever, $5 or $6 grand a month. But, you know, that studio was not for me. That studio was for somebody else. Who do you think that studio is from? You won't be able to guess it. Post Malone. It was discovered in my studio with one of my clients who discovered him. Okay? And I'm telling you now, and I hit Post and I let him know. I say, you know, that studio wasn't my blessing. It was yours. And sometimes you do things. Sometimes the universe uses you. The gods use us. And sometimes it's not for you. Everything is not for you. Sometimes you are a tool. Sometimes you are here, sometimes to bless other people. You see, and Post was blessed in my studio. And now I left that studio. Now he's one of the biggest artists in the world.
Yeah, doing Super Bowl commercials, all based on him.
That's right.
You know, that's pretty amazing. Right. And you feel good about that.
I tell him, that's right. That studio was his. The gods used me at that moment, at that place in time. The person that was in the studio for me heard Post, and from there. The White Iverson went from, the kid name was First from Atlanta, big producer, R&B, hip hop guy. First discovered Post in my studio, took Post, and after that, White Iverson became a big hit. But it came out of my studio, and I look back on that right now, and I say, Stevie B, that wasn't for you. The gods were using you to bring him up in that situation. That was for him. You see? And sometimes you have to be that. Sometimes you have to be a tool. Everything don't have to come to Stevie B, and it doesn't. I take losses every once in a while, but it wasn't a loss. I feel great about it. I feel wonderful about it, that I would be used as an instrument like that, just like I'm used as an instrument to inspire people to do my album. When I do an album, by the time I'm finished with it, Jose, I don't want to hear it that much no more. You guys get me excited about hearing. I done heard every one of those songs over 1,000 times.
One thing that I do want to touch on is the people that you took to Brazil with you. They've been very taken back on how well they were treated. You know, I've had conversations with Sam Savone, Niaja, people that you have done everything in your power to make them feel like they belong there with you on the same stage. And so I have to commend you for that because, again, the cynicism in social media doesn't allow people to give credit where credit is due. You are Stevie B. You are the way that you are. That's a bottom line. I'm CPR. I am the way that I am. But when we see something and we feel like we feel compelled to assist or to put somebody on or to promote someone or to put them on the same stage, we do it in our individual ways. I do it in a small form. I do it in this medium that I have, but you do it, in the form that you have, in the platform that you have. But none of those people came back and said something negative. They all said, I made money. I did this, I did that. It was an amazing time. No one from that tour came back saying anything negative. It was just social media itself that made it into a negative situation. But, I need to, people need to give credit where it's due. And they were happy with the money that they made. They were happy with the fans that they met. They were happy about how they were taken care of and how you were with them every step of the way. It wasn't like you went to your room or you went to the big suite above and left them downstairs. No, everybody was partying together like it was the 80s. You brought it back. So those are things that people need to know about because they come to me and they tell me exactly how things are versus what people make up on social media. So,
well, I appreciate all those people, and personally, I didn't know most of those people. And when I got there and saw their spirit, it was so worthwhile to me for everything that went into that. And that was a lot of work. That was a lot of money that went into that. It was a lot of time and effort. And I appreciated the people, how conformative they were. There were no egos in there. Maybe a little bit of drama on some situations, but it was nothing that wasn't manageable. And they made it worth my while to say I had that experience with them. And I'll tell you something about what you think is a small situation. There ain't nothing in our creation that didn't start from a little particle called cosmic dust. And you can't even see it. It's invisible to the human eye. So no matter how small you think your contribution is, sometimes the smallest contributions can be the biggest situations for people. Sometimes you don't know the state of mind they're in, their depression, their anxiety, their feeling. So you have to take those into account, that sometimes when you throw your blessings out there, and my blessings is that I have songs. God has blessed me. The gods have blessed me. The universe has blessed me to translate my feelings or express my feelings through music. And now, we have a format and we have a platform that we can express not just music. We can talk and let people see. Some people don't like me, but that's fine.
Well,
they don't have to like me.
Let's get to some. Let's get to some tough questions. All right. So,
okay.
What is the deal between you and Johnny O? Is there actual beef, or is this just trolling on social media?
There is absolutely no beef between me and Johnny O. Absolutely zero. Only beef that he has is he thinks he can whip my ass on the stage and performing, doing music as an artist. And I say that you can't. Now, what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
I say I can whip your ass. I say I can whip Larry, the producer, writer, engineer, programmer, performer, and he got some pretty good little moves for an old guy. He get around.
I just wish he'd bring the mustache back. I think that will complete him. You know what I mean?
But just let me finish making my point with Johnny. You made Johnny a point. Johnny never did nothing to me, and I never did nothing to him. But it's that perceived beef out there. I can get you. You can. Me and Kay and George and all of them. We had this all of our career. I can get you. You can get me. My dancers is better. I can perform better than you. Or when I get in the studio, I need to beat that TKA song. Maria was a bad. I need to come with it. I'm telling my producer, hey, that's hot. We need to whip it. That's what we going after.
I think that you have taken your quota for tonight, but let me also
my butt. I mean, kick their butt. Kick their butt.
So look, man, there were some issues that you had here in Springfield, Mass. Is that all taken care of?
Been taken care of, and that wasn't never really an issue. See, that's what the media perceived it as. But I didn't go on boasting about what it was and what it wasn't. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I won that case. People don't know that. They don't know. I won that case. But I don't get on. I don't get on there to disparage the people involved in that. You didn't hear me never come back and say that. Media came out talking about. They talked about all that stuff, but that wasn't true. Not like that.
I did invent the Stevie B lock me up dance at that time. I thought it was funny. Not many people did, because a lot of people came to your defense. They thought that it was hypocritical of me to have you on my show, because back then, what was it, like 8 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever?
Yes.
I made light of the situation. And so,
can you believe, and whether you know it or not, I know you did that. But
right.
Guess what? I still love you.
It's all about entertainment. So you think that
that's right.
You want to get as many people viewing you. You want to say some outlandish things. So
yes,
I've curtailed that, because now I'm getting it, and so I'm trying to modify it to teach. I spent a whole year of my life trying to teach one individual person. It bit me in my A double crooked letter.
Yes.
But you move on to the next person. There are more people to mentor. And since I've been doing this since I was 18 years old, and I think that I have a lot of guidance to give. And whoever takes it, and whoever doesn't, and we just move on to the next person. There are many people that want me to offer them 5 minutes of my radio time. And so the ones that don't appreciate it, the ones that I give it to and say that I'm nothing, that I'm going to offer those 5 minutes to somebody else. And then you can go find your other medium to play your music. Just so you know, Stevie, we report to BMI and ASCAP and all that stuff. So, when we play you, you're going to be charting, and we're going to be sending that information over so you can get your publishing and all that good stuff. So, and when that's
a beautiful thing.
So that's people are like, who cares about you getting played on a community station? Well, we're a community station that reports. So reporting is important. So artists like Stevie B know what that means. It may not mean billions of dollars coming out of this radio station, but at least is some sound scan or something out there that says, oh, this station is playing. When the Heart is Calling, they're playing Best of Life, the album, and that's
everything is BDS registered. So if you have a reporting station, I'll get the benefit, and it's wonderful that you guys have that in your camp, that you can offer that to the artists too, so they can feel like they're getting a benefit out of that when the record is getting played.
And I had to explain that many times to people, but again, play who we can and let go of the people that don't appreciate the time that we give them. Speaking of time, I'm gonna let you go.
Thank you, Jose. I appreciate it.
And we'll talk to you soon.
And, all right, give a big shout out to my team, DJ Slice. He's doing the best thing. Jenny Renee, all the people on the album, and thanks you all to all the fans that have supported me over the last 30-something years, and hopefully we can take this another 30 years. Much respect, much love. Thank you.